Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Newsgram. What do you say we make this a happy day? Live on the bright side, think positive, all that stuff. Whatever time it is right now, let's make the rest of the day a happy one. Why, you ask? Because a positive attitude is like a beacon of light. It's a literal magnet to attracting more happiness. You ever noticed how happy people, upbeat people, they're always surrounded by others? But that's not necessarily where we're going today. Sometimes, no matter how positive and happy and upbeat that you want to be, it's not always easy. Take, for instance, the case of Vincent D'Souza. Now, Vincent is transgender, with a decent childhood, but one that was mentally, emotionally, and spiritually difficult. And there's a reason I'm pointing out his gender, so bear with me here. It's not easy to be positive when you can't love yourself. And we'll get into that deeper in just a minute here. Let's first crack open his book. It's called Happy People Equals Happy World. Prayers to Heal People and the World.
This book was inspired at a time when my brother was terminal with cancer.
It was at this time that he received, well, let's call it inspiration.
At that time, I got what is called in the book the 7 stations of the healing cross. And that was a way of forgiving yourself and forgiving anybody you may imagine had done anything to you, and then working up to a higher level where you became one with God. Because once you forgive yourself, then you're pure and you go up the scale until you're back to oneness.
We all have demons to battle and skeletons in our closet, and it can be hard to move past them. His brother passed away, and it was that experience that caused him to look at life in a more spiritual way, realizing that loving and forgiving yourself, as well as everyone else, is critical to your own well-being. It was this way of thinking that you see reflected in his book. In it, he has developed a more precise form of prayer. Take, for example, the Hail Mary.
Okay, the Hail Mary is important because I agree with the Catholic one, but in the revelation I've got from Jesus through a book called The Way of Mastery, is because we are spirit, the image and likeness of God, having a material experience, we cannot sin. We are just having experiences. There's no right and wrong. So in the Hail Mary, I'm not saying pray for us sinners now. No, pray for us, the children of God, which follows from our Father. Now until our victory over the illusions of sin, disease, and death. Because sin, disease, and death are just energy changes. We are perfect spirit, complete in every way, experiencing creation and advancing the frontiers of creation.
Well, maybe we should drill down on that one a little bit. If you're a spiritualist, then this is nothing new. You've heard this before, the idea that we are spiritual beings that live on forever. But if all that sounds pretty far out, then let's see if we can get a better understanding from a scientific point of view.
Physicists talk about quantum physics. In the quantum field, there's infinite possibilities and potential. So that's a good description of God. But the quantum field cannot create things. It needs humans like us in this dimension to create things. That's where we are children of God, created by God, to experience creation and advance it.
A quantum being with infinite possibilities that also has the ability to create. The easiest way for God's creation to advance is by raising its vibration, or simply put, by being a loving person. They just vibrate higher than eternal pessimistic types. He says when we bless ourselves, we bless all of creation, and that uplifts us to the higher vibrations of peace, awareness, love, and light. So his book takes many of the traditional prayers that you may be familiar with and adds a spiritual twist to make them a little more precise, adding elements that address all of creation. So basically, what am I saying here? It's not about you. Well, it is, but it's more about us. And I promised we'd get more into Vincent's sexuality, so let's go there now. Living his life as a man, with a wife and children, he realized that in order to truly love others, you need to love yourself.
I was pleasing my family. I had 2 daughters who were in high school. One was going to uni. And then after, not to interfere with their careers, then for my wife, and then we divorced. And still accommodating them, to keep the contact. I was codependent until about 2 years ago. I finally decided, no, I got to love myself enough to do what's good for me. And it was freedom.
So Vincent underwent gender reassignment surgery and has never looked back. And because of the religious nature of this podcast, you might be wondering, in God's eyes, was that really the best thing to do?
There was a gay Jew, very rich, who invited them to a party. So they went to the party, and on the way home, one of the followers or apostles, I don't know if it was an apostle, he said to Jesus, "Rabbi, is what that man doing right?" And Jesus' answer was brilliant. Would the Father make a mistake? Who created you? You're God's image and likeness. You cannot sin. You're just having experiences, and the Father's having them through you. You reap what you sow.
Newsgram is all about interesting people living their lives, and Vincent D'Souza is definitely an interesting man with a message of peace and love. His book, Happy People Equals Happy World, Prayers to Heal People and the World, is available now online at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and a bunch of other places. As usual, there is a link to it right here in the show's description. Wishing you peace, love, and a higher vibration. That will do it for this edition of Newsgram from WebTalkRadio.com.